Alright gentlemen, I'm here on the River Avon today on a pretty deep, fast-flowing stretch. The river season's finally open, so I can finally get back out here. It fishes best at like dawn and dusk. I'm here in the heat of the day, it's like 2 p.m, but it's no issue. We're gonna give it a go, get out there. I've already seen a couple of perch swimming around. The problem is a boat goes past roughly every 30 seconds, so there's a lot of disruption in the water. But we'll see how we go. I've got 2 rods. One I'm gonna feed on the bottom, so I've got a cage feeder down to a size 18 barbed hook. I'm gonna have a maggot on that, and I'm gonna mix up some ground bait to stick in the cage feeder. And I've also got a float rod, which I'm just gonna run right down the middle in between boats. See if I can get some water for the ground bait without going in. Oh. No! Almost lost the whole bucket.
Nearly made my day that. I was like, God, just a little bit more, a little bit.
Alright, hopefully we don't make too wet of a mix here. And normally you put your water in second, but this time we're going water first. So alright, worst case scenario, we'll empty a little bit out. It'll all be alright. So first we've just got some Ringer Method feeder pellets. I bought them just because they swell up in the water and it'll provide a good bit of feed for the things that are in there. I'm trying to build up a good swim, draw in some fish. So we want them to have a good bit of food out there. I've also got some Silver X skimmer mix. And just some plain old breadcrumbs. That was way too much water. Like way too much water. I have to chuck all the breadcrumbs in. I got some hemp seed as well. The fish love a bit of hemp seed, allegedly. Alright, let's leave that to soak up a little bit. That should thicken up. Meanwhile, I'm going to set up my float rod. For my bait, folks, we're going to be using Wrigley red maggots. I just got a tiny little red hook and red maggots. So the theory is it's going to be invisible to the fish. I'm just going to be hooking 2 on at first, but I might switch to 1 later. We'll see. Just like that. It's still a bit wet to properly get in the cage feeder, but I just want to get something out there. It doesn't matter if most of it just falls out on the way. Just want to get something in the water. Just going to hang a little piece of reed just before the bait runner, just to make sure it's touching. Really, it's a quiver tip. I don't really need a bait runner, but because I'm doing 2 types of fishing, I'm also going to be running a float down the middle. It's best to have some kind of alarm on your bottom rig, just so you don't accidentally hook something and not realise. The last thing you want is to deep hook a fish, because they'll swallow it right down to their belly sometimes, and very difficult to deal with that situation. Okay, time to set up the float. So it's just a little stick float. Really simple fishing this is. The water's very deep here, so you need a nice long bit of line underneath the float. She's after my maggots.
She is. Oh, I really think we didn't feed her. Come on, baby.
So I've got my little size 18 barbed red hook on. I've got my float on, and now I'm just putting some weights underneath the float to A, make the float work properly, and B, to make sure my line gets down deep in the water and doesn't just get dragged in the current. Hey, first fish. There we go, guys. Nice little perch. There you go, guys, first fish of the day. Beautiful little perch. Ooh, dropped him on the grass. Alright, I'm gonna chuck him in the keep net, guys. I'll just put him in this net for a second. So this is called a keep net. and all this is for is, you guessed it, keeping fish. I'm going to put them in there, see how many I get at the end, and then let them all go. So here's my keep net. Oh god, I almost fell in. Here's my keep net, and the fish are just going to chill in there. Alright guys, ground bait's nice and dried up now, it's a good consistency. It's not wet and sloppy anymore. So what we're going to do, we're going to chuck the cage feeder in, about half full with our paste. Then we're going to get some maggots, chuck those in the top. We're going to get some more paste, stick it on top of that. We want to squish it down a bit so it stays in the cage as it sinks. Get our maggots back in the shade, otherwise they'll all die. And then we get this rod back out. There we go, the rod's set back up. Easy as that. Fish number 2, little baby chub there guys. Let's get him in the net. Yeah, fish number 3 gentlemen, we've only been here 20 minutes. Beautiful chub, little bit bigger, still a tiddler, but I'll take it.
Getting bigger and bigger.
Getting bigger and bigger, exactly. Just ran into a couple of other fishermen, really nice guys. I think they said their YouTube channel was called Off D Water, DE. So good. I'm gonna go check them out. Proper nice gentlemen, definitely knew what they were talking about, that's for sure. Got another one guys. One a chuck right now. Literally out for 1 minute. Haven't even been using the float rod. Another beautiful perch guys. Let's get them in the net. Literally one a chuck, I'm not even having time to use the float rod, so I put it aside for now. Getting a hit already guys. You saw that was out for a second. Another good fish. Looks like I found the spot today gentlemen. Another beautiful perch. I don't feel like I even need ground bait for this honestly. Put it out, 30 seconds later I've got a fish. Must be a lot of fish down there. Hopefully I can bag one of the bigger ones soon. Not that I'm complaining, I'm happy to just be catching. Alright, it's gone a little bit quiet, so I'm going to get the float rod back out. The water's about 12 foot deep here, roughly. And I'm fishing about 9 foot deep. Hey, got one on the float. Beautiful little chub. That's the first fish on the float, guys. Only a little guy, but he's very welcome. Just like that, guys. Once you hit the right depth, you'll be getting one a chuck. You just got to plumb the depths, find out how deep it is, and set your weight so that your bait gets down to where you want it in the water column. This is actually our first roach of the day, I think, guys. Tiny little roach. Okay, before I cast the float line back out, the ledger rod's been out there for roughly 15 minutes now. When you're fishing for small fish like this, it's worth checking it. There might be a little fish on it. We don't want him deep hooked. There's nothing on it, there's still bait in the cage feeder, so I'm just gonna chuck it back out. If I was fishing for bigger fish, I'd leave it out there for a lot longer period of time. But when you're fishing a size 18 hook with one maggot on it, there's a high chance you're going to catch a fish that isn't going to give you any kind of bite indication. And the longer the fish stays on the hook, sometimes the further the hook will go down its throat, and sometimes it can actually make it into its stomach. So you want to be checking it, don't be leaving it out, because it's not worth hurting a fish if you don't have to. So I forgot to record it because I'm an idiot, but I just chucked a bunch of ground bait out into the middle. Hopefully that's going to hold some fish in my swim. Oh, it's a good one. That's the biggest one yet, guys. They're getting bigger and bigger. Let's get it back out, guys. Literally just one a chuck right now, guys. You know, they're nothing huge, but the fact that the little fish are in the swim means I have a good chance of attracting the bigger fish too. Very nice fishing so far. I'm content, you know. I don't mind if I only catch tiddlers this whole time. I'm fine with it. It's just nice to be out here. I think I've got a fish. There must be a whole shoal of perch in front of me. Every single truck I'm getting a perch. Ooh, 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 ooh. Beautiful little guy, look at that. No way. Got one already. Ah, the one that got away. Took the maggot. That's why they call it fishing. The hopes are that the hemp and the pellets and the ground bait kind of draw them in and hold them, and the maggots become a big juicy treat that they're all racing for. That's why I was getting bites every couple of seconds, because I'm only putting in 5, 6, 7 maggots into the cage feeder and then my maggot on the hook. So all the fish are competing for the maggots. They're competing, so they're smacking it very, very quickly, straight in, smacking it, swallowing it down. It seems now they're being a little bit more cautious, so I'm going to chuck more maggots in and try and keep them back, get them back, feed in, get them comfortable. And one of them, the unlucky one, is going to bite on my hook and get reeled in. Oh, that's a bite. The little perch. Back out she goes. I'm just casting out literally right in front of me. You see there's a ledge running along here and then a steep drop off into about 12 foot of water. There seems to be quite a few fish held down there. I keep seeing them pop up over the ledge. But you know, you don't have to come to the river and cast out to the other side or into the middle. Sometimes you'll find just at the edge, just in front of you, is the best place to be. Time for a cheeky beverage, I think, gentlemen. Cheers. You don't want to eat in that. You won't be able to pick up what comes out the other end with the dog poo bag, I promise you that. That was a good hit. Another little chub. Another beautiful little chub, guys, look at that. Mwah. He's after my bait, fellas. You can have some, Mr. Swan. It's okay, it's food. People always moan about swans and birds coming to their swim, but this is their home, and I'm intruding on their home, you know? Don't mind giving him a bit of food. He'll be back on his way in no time. Not necessarily sure this is the healthiest food for a swan, but I'm sure it's right as a little treat, you know? We all eat things that aren't healthy here and there, eh?
I know a place where we can go and be alone. So come away with me, nobody has to know. Where we gonna go? I was just calling to see if you're free to run away with me, to run away with me. Don't tell your friends, we'll let them know we're safe later on. The road is calling, son. skin, sleeping under stars when it's gone.
Alright folks, I think we're going to call it there. It's been a good day. I've only been here 2 hours. But the missus is getting cranky, she wants a McDonald's, so I'm going to go get her fed. I'm going to pack up all my stuff. I'm going to chuck the rest of my ground bait in the water. I'm sure the fish will enjoy the hemp seeds and whatever. But before I go, I'll get my net and show you what I caught and see if we can't get a cheeky underwater shot of them all swimming away into the sunset. Okay folks, the swans have come to see the grand finale too. It might not be the biggest bag of fish you've ever seen, but it's my bag of fish. There we go guys. A few perch, a few little skimmers. Let's get them back in the water. There we go folks, a little session, short and sweet, but a good amount of fish. They may have only been small, but very welcome in my books. It's been a good day. I'm looking forward to the next one. I'll see you soon.